It's the Infectious Groove Podcast, part of the Odd Pods Media Network. Recorded from Detroit, Michigan, and Jacksonville, Florida. The Infectious Groove Podcast is your source for jammy jams, album reviews, and the best in-depth music discussion. Thanks for joining us. Now here are your hosts.
Hello, my name is Russ, and welcome to the Infectious Groove Podcast. And there's so many things going right this week as opposed to last week, where many things did not go right. The first thing, depending on how you look at it, going right is I'm not alone this week. Michelle is here, and with bells on, I assume.
Yay.
Michelle?
No.
In fact, no bells. In fact,
no bells.
That's odd because this week we're reviewing an album, and it was my pick. And as far as I remember, tell me if I'm wrong. Isn't this one of your favorite records of all time?
No.
Oh, okay. So I am wrong on that. This is not one.
It's not even on a list of albums that I kind of like.
Sweet. All right. Well, spoilers for the second half of the episode. And the gentlemen that will be joining us this week are a couple of our favorite friends from the It's Rocks podcast. We got Aaron and Casey. And I will tell you that when you gentlemen sent me a DM and said, hey, we need the album for review so we can, get a good idea or whatever else. I said, okay. I'm pretty sure this is going to be entertaining because Michelle's not going to like this album. And we are under 2 minutes into the episode. And was I correct, gentlemen?
Seems to be.
Right. Seems to be the drill. So anyways, you guys have provided us with plenty of feedback. We've talked your show up a great deal because what we do on our show is very, very hindsight looking. We look pretty much from, years past all the way back a couple of decades into music. And you guys are the source for new rock. And that's what I always say to anybody who ever asks. So having said that, people should be familiar with your show so you don't have to go through the whole salesman aspect of it. But I do know that you guys have had some cool things shaken on the show lately. So use a couple of seconds here to tell people who you've been interviewing. And I don't want you to break any news on my show or anything, but let us know what you got going on.
This year has been big for us in that we've not only gotten to talk about a lot of new music, but we've gotten to interview a lot more people than we had in the past. And so the show isn't becoming fully interview, but the proportions are shifting that way.
Right.
So in the past couple of months, we've had a few really cool interviews. We interviewed Dorothy, who has an album called Gifts from the Holy Ghost that is going to be very high on our album of the year list that we're working on. Her guitarist, Sam Bam Colton, who is our first guest we've had from St. Louis, which is where we're based.
Rad.
That's fantastic.
That's rad.
Yeah, we got to talk to a hometown boy.
That's awesome.
And then arguably our biggest name, or at least name from the biggest band that we've spoken to, we did an interview a few weeks back with Keith Wallen of Breaking Benjamin.
Right on.
And so, yeah, we're excited about the opportunities that are opening up and hoping to continue that into 2023.
Which is rad. I know you guys are nose to the grindstone with it. We used to do a lot of interviews on this show, and all cards on the table, I stopped hustling for it. Because as you
it
guys,
is a hustle.
It is. It's such a grind, and I enjoyed the hell out of the interviews that we did, but man, it's hard. You got to talk to a guy and then hope that guy passes your message on to someone else, or, it's just, man, you got to know the knocks and the passwords and everything. It's crazy to even get it off the ground. But y'all are having real good success with it, which is awesome. And, like our show, the interviews that we've done on our show have typically been from artists who have been big at one time. And you guys are dealing with the artists who are up and coming or continuing. Like Dorothy has been on an uphill slant for years now, for, I want to say, coming up on a decade,
Close to it, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around there. So, but for me, it's like I notice when I see quote unquote big media personalities that I know of in radio interviewing the same people that you're interviewing, that to me says you guys are definitely heading in the right direction,
We're
Thank
working
you.
on it.
We feel that way. Yeah.
Right on.
It's
awesome.
cool to have a little bit more leeway to target people rather than being the target.
Right.
Which we do a little bit of both. We like to talk to bands that are very small as well as, as big as we can get and mix and match a little bit. So
right on. All right. Well, as far as our program goes, as you heard at the top of the hour, this is going to be really probably one of the longest episodes we've ever had because it's going to be hard to shut Michelle up saying awesome things about this week's album review. It was my pick, and I picked Sturgill Simpson's 2016 album, A Sailor's Guide to Earth, which we will get into in the second half. But before that, we have a couple other things to get out of the way, starting with some feedback.
Feedback, Joe.
Don't worry about that. Right. Where does rock and roll be without feedback?
I'm going to kick things off with feedback-wise with kind of a lengthy clip, but bear with us because it's good quality content. It's Dayton, who was supposed to be our guest host last week. If you're a regular listener of the show, there was a kerfuffle and a quite a stir where it stopped Dayton from being on the show. But he sent us a clip with kind of a recap of what he would have said if he was on the show. So here we go.
Hey, Infectious Groove Podcast. This is Dayton from the Document 77 podcast. You know, the guy with internet issues. Turns out it wasn't just me. The whole neighborhood was without the internet for about a half hour. I'm sorry about that, Russ. Next time, I promise, knock wood, no technical difficulties. And I really would like to thank Lauren for stepping in. I got a chuckle out of her pausing her Animal Crossing game to help you out. Anyway, so the song Dancing in the Moonlight has been stuck in my head for 5 days now. Doesn't matter what I listen to, audiobooks, podcasts, music. Every time it gets quiet, it just jumps right back into my head. So, in an effort to release it from its cranial prison, I'm going to give you a quick version of my notes for the epic cover battle I was denied my admittance. First of all, the original version from King's Harvest. What do I like? The lyrics. It definitely embraces the early 70s hippie vibe, and I'm all about that. It's a nice, groovy, positive song, and I really enjoy 70s rock anyway, and I grew up listening to this song, so there's definitely that nostalgia edge that I get from this song. Reminds me of when I was 5, 6, 7, listening to the radio in the car. So it's a fun song, and I like the groove, I like the flow. So yeah, it's a good song. I only have one little complaint, and that is how the chorus just plays out the end of the song. Now, I know this is very, very common in most pop music and rock music, and sometimes a song can overdo it. Well, this one definitely overdoes it. So, my only complaint with that one. Now, Top Loader. I never heard this version until you asked me to listen to it. I do really appreciate that they were able to make it their own without a lot of drastic changes. At first, the slower tempo threw me off, but after a while, I actually really grew to like it, especially since I think it really works really well with his voice. They also did a nice job updating it by ditching the guitar and going full keyboards. It still has the groovy feeling of the original, and I give a lot of credit to that, to his voice. They also fixed the chorus repetition issue by varying the music. If you notice, when the run starts, they stripped it down to only vocals and clapping. And each subsequent chorus, they add a piece of music back in and making it interesting and not so repetitious, giving you a little bit more to listen to. So, my favorite, well, like I said, the King's Harvest version is going to get the nostalgia vote. But I got to admit, this is one of the rare times where a cover is actually done better than the original. So, if I was going to recommend it, I would definitely recommend the Top Loader version for sure. So, thanks for letting me get that out. Let's hope the song travels away for a while and goes to somebody else's head for a little bit. I have some other music I'd like to get stuck in there for a little while if that's cool with it. Thanks again for everything you guys do, and thanks for being the best part of my Monday.
So, Michelle, if I'm not mistaken, you didn't even know that that was a cover, correct? Top Loader, Dancing in the Moonlight?
I think that's the only version I've ever heard.
Okay, yeah, because what we found was a lot of people didn't know that Top Loader did it. Like, everybody knows the King Harvest version, which I think is funny that it's like the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, you play the Top Loader version, right?
That's the version I've played for you most, yeah.
Then yes.
But I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but you're allowed to just listen to the other version anytime you want.
Oh no, I can only listen to what you give me.
I know, just like you can't Google things for yourself. I'm aware.
What do you think I keep you around for?
Yeah, exactly. Seth writes into the show and says, Russ, why do you hate the band Haim so much? I don't understand your beef with them. They are good. That is a running joke on the show where Seth has decided that whenever I say anything that's not offensive, he's going to turn it into offensive. And for clarification's sake, what I said was that Haim is one of those bands I should be more into. Like I don't listen to them. Every time I've heard a song or seen a performance, I think they're great. I just never seek out more. So
you hate them.
Right. Yeah. So like you and Seth sharing a brain again. I in fact hate them. Garrett writes in on a follow-up regarding his hate for Kids Bop. And he says, my beef with Kids Bop has been going since they first emerged. Off-key kids and bad lyric changes. No, thank you. Our friend Anthony over on Twitter writes in and says, Dancing in the Moonlight was a really fun cover battle. A song I don't recall hearing before. Top Loader's cover is one I really enjoyed the most. The sounds feel a little updated and really gives off more energy. The song with more percussion driven, I really gravitate towards. King Harvest is really great, though. Just had a bit of dated sound for my taste. Top Loader is definitely my pick and also the one I would recommend. In regards to your recommendations on which Pink Floyd albums I should listen to next, I decided to go your route of going with Obscured by Clouds and Metal. Both albums are fantastic. Actually, I like them better than I thought I would. I love the instrumentals that both albums have, and they're definitely among my favorite tracks, along with from Obscured by Clouds, The Gold It's in the What's of the Deal, Childhood's End, and Free 4, which are fantastic picks from the Obscured by Clouds album. And then from Metal, he said his favorites were Fearless, Saint-Tropez, and Echoes. Now, Echoes, Michelle, I'm going to cut off Anthony's feedback here real quick. Echoes is a 22-minute Pink Floyd song. How much of that would you think you'd be able to endure?
If it was also one whole album, then maybe.
It's side 2 of the album. There's 6 songs on the album, and there's 5 songs on side 1, and then side 2 is all one song.
No, you have to pick one.
That's a no thank you.
Yeah, a hard pass.
A hard pass. Anthony goes on to say, with Echoes, the song has such a cool atmospheric sound. When I saw the track length was 22 minutes, I could not wait to hear that one. I didn't even set that up. I love the longer tracks like that. Being a fan of Dream Theater, long songs are always my favorites. And Echoes is really up my alley. These albums are definitely going to be added to my play rotation. Love them both, which is awesome. So, see, Michelle, some people like Pink Floyd and want to hear more of it. And that's what Anthony was asking me is what Pink Floyd he should go with next. And me being the all-powerful Pink Floyd person that I am, I was able to send him in the right direction.
Wow. Cool. Good for you. I don't get it.
Oh, I'm aware. I've tried. I've tried. If you would like to leave us feedback, you can find us on literally any social media. You can call us at 313-364-9899. You can leave a message right through infectiousgroovepodcast.com, or you can even do what Dayton did and make yourself an audio file and send it to us, and we will make sure to include it in the show. Moving along. Our jammies. With no technical problems whatsoever, we are easily into our jammy jams, which the listening audience will have no idea the blistering amount of technical issues that just occurred. Our jammy jams is the segment where we share every week what we are listening to and why. You can generally hear a wild array of music that I've listened to, and anything from the latest audiobook or the latest NPR news from Michelle. As far as my jammy jams go, you gentlemen at the Itch caused me a problem last time you were on the show because you both had such good and in-depth jammy jams that I forgot to share my own jammy jams. We have done coming up on about 150 episodes of the show, and there's one episode that doesn't have my jammy jams, and it's the last time you guys were.
What an honor.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's because we had so many to start off with. So you should start this time.
It was a really good, engaging discussion. And then, I literally was so fired up. I was like, oh, that's half of the show. Let's move on, So, yeah, and I'm going to do exactly that, Casey. I'm going to start with myself so I don't forget. I actually started a pattern of that going first from there out because of that episode. But like I was saying earlier, we focused a lot more on music that we love and older music and stuff. And over the past month, I was blessed with some very old live recordings of artists that I love very much. So it was like new to me stuff that I've been listening to a great deal. One of which is the super deluxe version of the Use Your Illusion albums by Guns N' Roses, which is ludicrously priced and no one should purchase. But the streaming, if you go on streaming, all of the live tracks are available between the two different releases, right on streaming, right? And GNR is one of those bands that is so hit or miss live, but in my opinion, 91, 92, and 93, they were absolutely on fire. They were on fire live. And so there's at least 2, maybe 3 full shows from that era, 91 and 92, that are in that Use Your Illusion set that I've been listening to. And it's just, it's everything I've ever said good about GNR Live is represented within those tracks. So I've been listening to those a lot. Then on top of that, it's no secret on the show, I'm a huge Elvis Presley fan. And for me, Elvis's career doesn't even start till 1970. Like people who go, old fat Elvis. First of all, he didn't even get fat till the last year and a half of his life. Second of all, he was a monster on stage in the 70s, and nobody knows that. So there was a special edition of an Elvis a soundtrack called Elvis on Tour, a concert film that he did in 1972, and that has 5 complete shows I've never heard from 1972, which if I had to narrow it down, 1972 is probably my favorite Elvis year. So to all of a sudden get 5 whole shows I've never heard from that year is pretty rad. Set list is very similar on all the shows because it's the same tour. I mean, a lot of the shows are days apart, but it is very cool for me to hear even Elvis's band, like little things. The drummer plays different here. His keyboard player plays different here, or different ways Elvis sings different things. And there's one show where he's in a silly mood and like joking through the whole show and stuff and whatnot. So it was all good. So like I say, for me, the last couple of weeks have been filled with songs I've heard a ton before, but new to me versions of all of those songs, if that makes sense. I am going to hand it over to the guys from the Itch now. We'll start with KC, and because I mean, really, Michelle, she needs more time to look up what her jammy jams were anyways. So we'll start with KC. What have you been listening to, brother?
Well, because we've interviewed Dorothy and subsequently other people that are adjacent to Dorothy, and also we've been listening a lot of her album Gifts from the Holy Ghost, and my favorite track of the year is their song Made to Die, which so Dorothy and Keith Wallen co-wrote the song, and then Sam Colton, her guitarist, plays on that track and does some really mean guitar licks on that song. So
right on.
Go ahead and check that out if you have not.
It'll go on our playlist.
And since it's Christmas time, just about, I've been listening to some Christmas songs, and we got Eve Under Fire from your neck of the woods in Detroit. You got First Noel, and they just recently released a small version of Oh Holy Night.
Right on. Yeah, that's another thing. Michelle loves Christmas music. She's a big Christmas fan.
I love Christmas so much.
She does. She literally hates Christmas.
If you hate that, you should listen to From Ashes to News cover of All I Want for Christmas Is You.
It's still a cover of a Christmas song.
That it is.
Right on. So is that everything you've been listening to? Kind of take us through what you've been listening to. Right on. Aaron, what have you been up to?
Well, as Casey kind of noted, we've been listening to a lot lately because we are gearing up for our finale for the year, the top 20 albums.
Right on.
So we've literally been listening to dozens and dozens of albums over the past few weeks.
That's rad.
And so I don't have a specific song, but I wanted to drop 4 albums that are in different parts of the rock spectrum real quick. That
just hold on one second. Michelle, album is a grouping of songs that artists release.
How many songs?
Well, see, it depends. Generally,
that's a debatable topic.
Yeah. Oh, it sure is. Don't even get her started on what an EP is. Oh, Jesus Christ. There it is. Michelle has a problem with what an EP is.
The Itch is devoting all of 2023 to figuring out the difference between an EP and an LP in the modern times.
The terminology is wrong.
Okay, but don't make your episodes longer than 10 minutes or else Michelle will tune out.
We'll knock it out in 10. That's all it takes for us to figure out deep issues.
Right on. So anyways, you got 4 LPs.
Anyway,
you want to share with us.
Yes. 4 LPs. First one is by a band called Dayseeker. It's called Dark Sun. And I recommend the album. It's kind of in what they call like the closest thing would be like a post-hardcore. I don't like the terms, but I'm trying to have a frame of reference. And basically the entire album thematically is about the vocalist Roy Rodriguez dealing with the simultaneous passing of his father and birth of his daughter, which both happened within about a 6-month span. So it's very powerful and emotional what he gets into on that, and I highly recommend it.
Right on.
On the opposite end of the spectrum, there's a guy called Austin Meade who makes this dirty southern stoner rock kind of stuff. It's called Abstract Art of an Unstable Mind. And basically the whole album plays like you're riding through the desert listening to a crappy radio station, and it keeps these little intermissions and stuff.
Right
it's
on,
a lot
that's
of fun.
rad.
A band called Mama, who I call girl grunge. It seems like that. I don't know if they would love being called that. They're grungy sounding indie rock. Their album is called Household Name. And
Just for my reference, when you say that, are you talking more like Veruca Salt or more like the Donnas or somewhere in the middle?
those are both recommended if you likes.
Okay,
I
right
would
on.
say.
Right on.
I'm a huge sucker for anybody who sounds like they've heard of a Veruca Salt album.
Oh, yeah.
And-
Yeah.
And Mama definitely has.
We have this is so off topic, but when we go to karaoke, we have our male karaoke host does Seether regularly, and
Nice.
he does it like in the right key. It's awesome.
I would call these girls, I would call Mama like a lower key version. It's like chill grunge, if that's the thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I can hear that.
there you go. And then the last one is a band from Hastings, England, called Kid Capici. And their album is Here's What You Could Have Won. Spoiler that it might end up as number one on my list. I just love the sound so much. It's this kind of like electronic, grimy rock stuff. And most of the album is just about the class struggle of being in England.
Right on.
And so it's very salty.
Nobody,
and I kinda
nobody
get a
from
kick out of
England's
it.
ever sung about that before, so that'll be new.
I know, right?
Yeah. It would have to be
It's
a Black
fresh.
Sabbath before somebody sang about that. Oh, wait. Yep, those were the first guys to do it. But yeah, no, that's rad.
There
And
you
it's both of you have a great example of what I always talk about when I talk up your show, new music that people should be checking out. And also, this is how I'm going to sell this episode on social media. I'm just going to be like, hey, spoiler, Aaron's number one is mentioned in our episode.
Sometimes we do that. It's like these little Easter eggs. Like, hey, if you listen to this, you're going to find out a tiny tidbit of info about something coming later.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's hope I saved the best for last. Michelle, what have your jammy jams been? We know it's no Christmas. We know there's no Christmas music on here.
Is there no Christmas?
No, there is Christmas.
Don't get excited now.
Even though you have organized groups and had picket signs and whatnot, still going to be Christmas.
You picked an entire holiday.
Ah, shit.
The guys outside the store with like the bells and whatnot. Michelle just stands next to them with a sign.
Just
I
takes the
collect
kettle.
money to get
You got a louder bell. Don't donate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I thought of that. I would be doing that. So this week I have had to do a lot of boring, mundane inventory work at work. So it was just like input stuff. So I've been trying to find new music to listen to. And I found a playlist on Spotify called, they just like created it or curated it for me. It's called Stomp and Holler, which I know you probably would never have guessed that's right up my alley.
Yeah, that is, as a matter of fact. I can't wait, by the way. In 2 weeks from now, we're doing our Spotify Wrapped episode.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for you to argue with Spotify again the whole time. It's going to be great. Michelle is convinced, by the way, that someone else is playing music on her Spotify account.
Yes.
That it must not be her making all these choices all year.
I have a theory and we'll get into it.
Okay.
But
see, there you go. Easter egg. We're doing the trailer. Yeah.
I already have notes.
Oh my. Anyway, so what is this? What is on the Stomp and Holler besides?
So there's a
Mumford
lot
and
of stuff
Sons?
that I already love, like The Head and the Heart. There's Jason Isbell, the Lumineers, the Lombellos on there. And then there is Camp, which I keep forgetting to check out. I think I've talked about them before.
You have.
Yeah, I just keep forgetting they exist. There's a lot of stuff on here that I love.
Speaking of forgetting to check out, by the way, I have yet to listen to more than 4 songs on the new Lone Bellow record, and I feel like I'm making a mistake. I bet it's
You are
really-
making a mistake.
Yeah.
Let's just.
Yeah, we're done
go.
here. We're
Done here. You have to go and
We'll
do
do
that.
it live.
But I really enjoy, there's not a lot of songs that I'm like skipping. So like I really enjoy the entire playlist, and I'll put some of my favorites on there.
Right on. Well, that was a pleasant surprise, Michelle. Thank you for all of that. That was great. And I got to be honest with you, I can't believe I didn't fall out of my chair when you said you were doing prep for an episode that's being recorded 2 weeks from now.
I'm just pre-angry. It's fine.
I see. I feel like you're. I feel like in general, your prep for each episode requires about 5 minutes of your time.
Well, this album was how long?
38 minutes. Yeah.
It's 38 minutes of my time.
I actually look. The first thing I do when I pick a record, ever since the Wall debacle, I look up and make sure that it's less than 45 minutes, just for you.
Aw.
It's one of my favorite episodes I've listened to was
Yeah.
the time Russ tried his darndest
Yeah.
to make a case. You sold me on the wall in a way I hadn't been before.
Right
But
on.
Michelle was not moving.
No.
I was not moved either.
We got
Not moved. You were the wall.
That's, That's how I know when we put out a banger is when like 3 and 4 weeks later, we're still getting feedback on the episode, you know? And there are people.
I don't even remember doing that episode.
I have no doubt that you completely forgot that. But yeah, it was like last week somebody sent us a DM that was like, oh my God, I just listened to that Wall episode. Michelle's so mean. I was like, welcome to my world.
Was that this season?
Yes, Michelle.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of Michelle being mean, we are going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to do an album review, and it's my pick, which is everybody's in for a treat because I love this album, and I'm sure Michelle has a long list of things she doesn't like about it. We'll get into all of that in the second half of the show. You are listening to the Infectious Groove Podcast on the Odd Pods Media Network.
I'm Tina Jaramillo.
And I'm Hillary Doherty.
And we host the Muck Podcast, where we discuss the dark and sometimes weird true stories in American politics.
Hey, Tina, did you know that Elvis crashed the Nixon White House for the sole purpose of getting a DEA badge? And it worked?
What? Or how a gun control advocate senator out of California engaged in gun trafficking with notorious gang leader Shrimp Boy.
Shrimp Boy, I remember him. Okay, so, we cover all of that and more from maladies, madness, mischief, and murder in U.S. politics.
And we also host a bi-weekly interview segment called Lil Muck.
We interview politicians, journalists, activists, and others who share their experiences in politics.
Find the Muck Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts and check us out on social media at the Muck Podcast.
Hi, I'm Sam.
I'm Richie.
I'm Little Matt.
And here in the 500 Section Lounge, we are three dads who host a family-friendly weekly podcast.
Yep, we laugh, we go on tangents, and we talk to great guests.
Tangents? I don't know what you're talking about with that. There are gases leaking?
All right, okay.
Yeah, we have legendary conversations from sports to history and everything in between.
So be on the lookout for what we do next.
And always be there to
grab a listen.
We are back. It's Russ and Michelle from the Infectious Groove Podcast, and we are not alone. Along with us this week are why I don't know why that's funny. All right. Kicking things off. Well, are you on the drugs? Did you take the drugs?
Oh, I'm drinking sparkling water.
So I'm going to state this fact one more time and hopefully not get a laugh this time. We are not alone. With us this week are
I think we're alone now.
Two good friends of ours. Wow, was that Tiffany? Did she just join us? That sounded just like her. Two friends of ours that we are always talking up in the podcast community, fellas from the Itch Rocks out of St. Louis, Missouri. And we have Aaron and KC with us. And hopefully this is not going to be everybody gangs up on Russ and makes him cry time. Hopefully there's some things that y'all liked about this record. The record in question that I have chosen is Sturgill Simpson's 2016 album, A Sailor's Guide to Earth. It was released April 7th, 2016. Before the record came out, there were two singles that were released to radio, Brace for Impact and Sturgill's cover of Nirvana's In Bloom. This is Sturgill's third studio record, solo studio record after he left his band Sunday Valley. The album debuted at number 3 on the charts. It did win Best Country Album at the Grammys that year. And then after the album got the Grammy for Best Country Album, the streaming of the record increased by 346%. So if anybody was... What's that? Yeah, that's not bad. Me and we've talked on this show a great deal about how like who even cares about award shows or whatever else, but like there's a strong case for the average Joe public still cares about award shows and definitely brings records up to a new level of visibility that they didn't have before. So when we do these album reviews, we always ask the person who picked the album to tell us why it is that they picked it for us. I am the person who picked the album this time. So to be honest, a lot of what I have to say about the record, I'm going to save for the open discussion portion when we get to that. But I will say that for me personally, this record was a huge surprise, like a huge surprise. I didn't know, I had heard of Sturgill Simpson. I had heard a song or two off of his two previous records, and I thought they were okay. I didn't think they were anything to write home about. Somebody I know put this record on and played it straight through the first time I heard it, and it was like song after song after song. It was so impressive to me that this is by far one of my favorite records of the past decade. of any genre. So, just getting all that out of the way, like I did with The Wall, to tell Michelle how important the record is to me, just so she can fully prepare how much she's going to dash my hopes and dreams. But what we do when we get into this is we start first and keep things as positive as possible by talking about which tracks we love the best on the record. So I'm going to hold off on Michelle because she's probably just going to list every track on the record. But we'll start with Aaron. What tracks did you like the most on this album?
All right. So going back to that debate about what makes an album, we have a 9-songer here, which is a little shorter than most modern albums.
Right.
They hit double digits most of the time. So that threw me off at first, but it made sense as I listened through it. At first I was a little bit concerned about what was going to go down because you suggested to me to listen to what is ostensibly a country album, and that's just so far out of my wheelhouse.
Sure. Yep, I get that.
Yeah, but you also gave me a country album, quote unquote, where they cover Nirvana. And so there was like an olive branch that Sturgill was already throwing before I even listened. So that, by being such an interesting version of that song, is definitely one of the standouts to me. And the fact that he misremembers the lyric in the chorus. And because Kurt Cobain doesn't say, he just says he don't know what it means.
Right.
He knows not what it means. And Sturgill changes it to, he don't know what it means to love someone, which I think adds something really interesting to that track, especially in the context of this whole album.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot to do with the lyrics of the record that we'll get into a little bit more, but that's not lost on me at all. Your point about that lyric change meaning more.
I love that it was apparently an accident because he just was remembering the lyric from childhood and that's how he remembered it.
Yep.
And he was like, this is how I recorded it. And then afterwards he felt bad about it and like went to Nirvana's people and was like, is this okay? And they're like, it's fine. Like,
yeah. They're like,
I did some research. So
right on. That's awesome. But yeah, so out of the gate, you got In Bloom. Was there anything else that you liked on there that stuck out to you?
I think polywog is a great word. And so, if for no other reason, although there are other reasons, the intro Welcome to the Earth is probably a favorite.
I love that, the way it kicks in out of nowhere. Like, when you first put the record on, I bet as a person like yourself, not a country fan, you were probably like, no, and then when the song kicks in, you're like, oh, okay, I can deal with this.
And it's so, what took me off guard the most about the whole thing, honestly, I won't spoil too much of what's later, but it's just how atmospheric the whole thing is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's really, to me, it's the beginning, middle, and end. So tracks 1, 5, and then the closer, Call to Arms. For something that has also been compared to outlaw country, I like that it finally had a song that was rebellious about. It's an anti-war song.
Yeah. So, and I'll tell you what, if you haven't seen it and you have any interest, go to YouTube and look up Sturgill doing that song on SNL, because I thought they were going to have to rebuild the entirety of Rockefeller Center after that. He tore the roof off of SNL with Call to Arms. It was crazy. Let's go ahead and make this a shit sandwich. We'll have start out with some good, and then we'll take it to the lowest possible point in the middle. Michelle, what were your favorite songs on this record? And please don't say none.
I had some ones I didn't hate. This
it's always great when you start off with the ones you didn't hate.
This is a very middle heavy record for me.
Yeah.
I am not a huge, like, lyrically, and I like the beginning. I like the concept of the record, talking to his kid, and I really do appreciate that. But musically, it just doesn't do much for me until Keep It Between the Lines. And then I start to get really into it. Keep It Between the Lines, See Stories, In Bloom, and Brace for Impact. And then after that, I just fall off again.
Yeah.
So there was nothing there to really keep my attention after that.
Sure.
So I tried really hard to listen to the end of the record a couple times because I kept drifting off in my own head.
I get that.
And it didn't do much for me, but that's why I was very much middle heavy.
But that middle section, I agree. I think Keep Between the Lines, See Stories, and In Bloom, that whole section is brilliant. It's just brilliant.
And I don't know, maybe that's because those are the songs that I've heard the most off of the record, but I know I've heard the record front to back several times, but those are the ones that hit home most for me.
Right on. Casey, what do you got off the record that you like the most?
We've covered a lot of them already. In Bloom, obviously. Welcome to Earth, Polywog was kind of a great start out point because, you say he's a country artist, and he is, but he also does a lot of kind of soulful sounding stuff with horns and other things. And the Welcome to Earth kind of combines like 4 styles of music all into one track. So it's kind of a really good kickoff point.
It definitely lets you know what else is going to happen on this record in one track.
Right. In addition to all the tracks we've talked about already, I liked "Oh Sarah." It's kind of a softer song. I enjoyed that a lot.
Right on. I'd keep between the lines, "See Stories, Breakers Roar," "In Bloom," "Cold Arms." Like, well over half the record was what I put as my best track.
I'm surprised it was all of it.
Almost.
Yeah, it's almost all of it. And one thing too, when you say, like Sturgill Simpson is considered a country artist, but I don't know if you guys have looked at anything else he's done. Okay, so this cat, the 2 records before this are so country that like Merle Haggard would hear it and be like, "That's too country, son. Like, stop." Like we're talking like fiddle, banjo, steel guitar, like country albums. Okay. And then there's this, which, we'll get into an open discussion, which I think is, technically he's a country artist. I don't think this is a country record, really. It's soul, it's R&B.
I wouldn't say so.
Yeah, it's rock. So what I want to tell you guys, though, Aaron and Casey specifically, you guys have got to check out the record that came directly after this. It's called Sound and Fury, and it's a fuzz rock record. And I mean, there is 0 drop of country on that record. It is a fuzz rock record that he recorded with his band in a motel in Waterford, Michigan. And there's an anime that goes along with it that was released on Netflix. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Now you got me.
Yeah. And so if you like Ty Segall, T-Rex type fuzz rock, it is crazy lo-fi. It's 1,000% different from this record, which I like as an artist. The first 2 records are similar. The third one's not like anything else. And then the fourth one's totally different than anything he's done before or since. So check that out. Sound and Fury. It's the 4th album after this. And actually, if you get the album on vinyl, when you get it out of the inner sleeve, has all the credits and everything. And on the bottom in big letters, it says "Fuck your speakers." Like that's on the actual inner sleeve of the record. So that's what Sturgill's thoughts. When we move on to Stinkers, I'll actually start this one, and it's funny because this is one that KC pointed out as liking the song, but this goes toward what Michelle was saying about near the end of the record. The only part in this album where, because for me, this record is constantly challenging in a good way. Like when the record opens and it completely takes off in a different direction within one song, and then you turn around twice and you're like, is this Nirvana? The record is just, and then in the middle, you got the Dap Kings playing these ridiculously awesome horns. I'd keep between the lines. But for me, "Oh Sarah" is the song that I just go, I could do without this here. Cause because then the album ramps right back up to "Call to Arms," close things out. So I don't even know if I'd call Stinker generally is like, you never want to hear the song ever again type thing. I wouldn't turn the song off, but it's the only time in the album where I don't feel like challenged or like something interesting is happening, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I think I am.
Makes sense.
What's interesting to me, and you can maybe have more information. Again, I just did a little bit of research after listening, was that apparently he re-released that song. It was on a previous album.
Right.
So it was a choice which is an interesting choice. Like, take this love song to your wife or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, I'm going to put it on another album, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years later or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So like, I think it's funny that the one song that resonates with you the least is the one that existed previously, and it wasn't even a new track that had to be on here. It was a stylistic choice to redo an old piece of work. Right.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. While we got you, Aaron, what was there anything on here you just said, "Oh dear Lord, I never want to hear that track ever again"?
No, there's nothing.
Right
nothing
on.
Terribly offensive.
No, that's good. Yeah, I truly did. Like, even mine's I put on my notes here, I said ask for stinkers, and under that I put "Oh Sarah ... ish." Like, it's like not even really a stinker.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna go out of my way to listen to most of it again.
Right,
but
I get
I'm
that.
not. It's not. But that's a difference. That is a huge difference than I dislike this and I will actively avoid it.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Casey, what do you got? Was there anything that you said no?
No, there wasn't really anything that I would say is a stinker on the album, but I'll make another point once we get into the open discussion part here.
Right on. Michelle, please try and keep this truncated. We try and keep the show as a whole to an hour. So if you're going to give us your list of stinkers, I would like it to be concise.
I don't have any stinkers. Much like Aaron, there's nothing that I actively avoid. Besides all of it, like Sturgill Simpson is just not my jam in general. I think he kind of sounds like Kermit the Frog sometimes, but there's nothing that I like. I wouldn't deter other people from listening to it, and so there's nothing really on this album that I would hope to never hear again.
Right.
I would just roll my eyes really hard if I did have to hear it again.
Giant surprise. Okay, so we've all kind of alluded to, we have some things to mention in open discussion. So I'm going to kick us off with that, and then we'll kind of go through until everybody's got in the points they want to make. For me, the number one thing that blew me away about this record, well, the first thing was, and Casey mentioned this first, is the fact that it just changes gears so much, like, over the first couple of songs, and you're just like, in a way, it's like I say, it's challenging to the listener. Like, what exactly is going on here? Like, I know I like it. Yeah, but I'm not. What's that, Michelle?
I like it.
You like what?
It keeps my attention.
Oh, right. The shifting gears near the beginning of the record. I got it. Okay. I swear to God, I was no kidding stunned that you were saying you liked it in reference to anything about this record.
I like that aspect of it.
No, right. The second thing that blew me away was when you start to dig into the lyrics, and at least me, maybe I'm slow. I was like, am I hearing a country concept album right now? Like, I was blown away by that fact. Like, I've never heard anything like that at all.
Even in the videos, if you watched any of the videos on YouTube, a lot of it has a heart in the video that's exploding and like just random things that happen to a heart. So I kind of interesting.
Yeah, even the visual aspect goes along with it. Yeah. Just FYI, the anime for the record after it, Sound of Fury, makes no sense at all. There's a lot of speeding cars, a lot of samurais, a lot of things going on that have nothing to do with the lyrics in the album at all. But yeah, so I love that. I love, I'm a parent myself, or and you don't even have to be a parent. You could just think back on your own folks, and the advice you got and whatnot. And there's so many things in this that crack me up to this day. Like in Sea Stories, the man name checks GoldenEye in a Nintendo 64.
Yep.
And I was just like, I've never heard anything like that in country ever. Like at the most, John Deere gets name checked in country.
in that same song, he name drops like 12 Asian cities, which has probably never happened in a country song before.
Most country artists are probably like, wait, Asia's a thing?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, that was, for me, is the first thing I wanted to point out. Another thing, and this is just an aside about how good this music is, in my opinion, is I have seen Sturgill Simpson twice in concert. Once was on the tour for this record. And when we went in, I figured we were going to get in there and there was going to be like at least a string section set up and horns and all this. And we walked into the Fox Theater in Detroit and there was not even a backdrop. Like the brick wall of the back of the theater was there. And there was a drum kit, a keyboard, a bass on a stand, and a Les Paul on a stand, and that was it. And I was like, what am I like? Is there an opener that's just like and what are they going to set up everything else? There was no opener. The lights went down. Sturgill and his band walked out, and they did the record front to back before moving on to his other songs. But they did like a way harder rock version of the album, like without the horns. There were songs like Keep Between the Lines. He was almost to the chorus before I was like, oh, this is Keep Between the Lines. Like that's how different it was. But the show was just amazing. Like the dude is near a virtuoso on the guitar. And I had no idea, from listening to this record. I have two other things I want to mention real quick, and then I'll just go through anything else anybody else wants to bring to the table. We'll probably touch on this again for other folks in the discussion here. I think the cover of In Bloom is magnificent. If you had told me before putting it on, hey, a country artist covered In Bloom, my immediate response would have been, please make sure I never hear that.
Same.
And then you hear this and you're just like, what? Like what? The highest compliment I can pay it is I think Kurt would have loved it. I think like he would have heard this and been like, wow, what a cool way to it's a complete reinvention of the song, in my opinion. And then the last thing I want to mention is we talk about Sturgill getting called an outlaw country artist. My all-time favorite thing that's ever happened with Sturgill Simpson is the country genre, the powers that be, if you will, famously downplayed this record big time. Like they didn't want anything to do with it. They refused to acknowledge it. And he was not nominated for not even one CMA. With this record that, was on setting the world on fire listener wise, but country just decided they weren't going to acknowledge it. So he went live on his Facebook page outside the CMAs and he was just busking with his acoustic guitar case open and he's just standing there playing songs. And people kept walking by being like, isn't that Sturgill Simpson, right? Like, isn't that, you just hear like people going into the CMAs. So this dude walks up to him finally, this just some fan that's walking into the CMAs, and he goes, hey, aren't you Sturgill Simpson? He goes, yep. He goes, what are you doing out here? And Sturgill goes, oh, well, I heard they're giving away awards for country music inside, so I figured at least some country music should get played here tonight. What a badass.
That's ballsy.
Awesome. So his music in this album, anyway, isn't particularly outlaw country, but he is an outlaw country human being.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah. That's what's funny is this is probably the record most people know. And if you like exactly what you're saying, Aaron, if people go, oh, you got to hear Sturgill Simpson, he's this outlaw country guy. And then you hear this record, you're like, maybe you don't know what outlaw or country mean.
Right.
Yeah.
I hear a singer-songwriter soul record when I'm listening to this.
Yeah. So having said that, and we'll just stay with you, Aaron, what kind of points or things did you want to point out in the general discussion of the record?
Okay. A couple of things that definitely stands out. I'm not a songwriter by any stretch, but I am a list maker. And for some reason I can't explain, for a long time, I've had this list of like concepts of songs that I thought would make for like a good album that revolved around the idea of like seafaring.
Right on.
And to find out that this existed in this album and was so well done, I was like, oh, well, I don't need to bother with that anymore, but it's really cool that it happened already.
you go to your list.
Probably far from the first time, I'm sure.
You're like, let me just mark that off real quick. That somebody already thought of that.
Right, yeah. And so to hear this guy who's singing, basically it's, you got the kind of sailor metaphor pops up now and then throughout the album, a lot of themes of kind of this father to son messages about living life and whatnot. It's very cool and made it richer than what I was expecting, but I had no true expectations because I had no idea who the guy was.
Right. Yeah. I
so
feel like
that,
if possible, that's a great way to come into this record. That's the same thing that happened to me. I just had heard of him and never really paid attention, and then I heard this record straight through.
Right, and then the fact that the sounds venture so much into R&B and whatnot, and then you get a couple of points where like on Brace for Impact, you get to the second half or so of that song, they hit a groove so hard that I'm actually head bobbing like it's a rock album, which is probably the first time on here. And then Call to Arms kind of does the same thing because it actually gets pretty jammy at the very end.
Right on.
But yeah, so there's a lot in there. Like I said, it's not something that I'm probably going to go back to very often. I have a hard time connecting with people I would put in that ilk. I think Michelle mentioned like Jason Isbell earlier, like a Josh Ritter, Andrew Bird, those singer-songwriters that are like undeniably quality artists, but I just don't connect with very strongly.
Sure. No, I get it.
It's kind of that thing, but there are definitely some big positives.
Well, now you're going to hear from Seth about why you hate all those people, but
sure. Right. Naturally. I'll give you my favorite
why
lyric.
Russ hates those people.
Yeah. It's going to be me. But I'm sorry.
Two favorite lyrics, and then I'll pass the mic on here.
Sure.
Second, number 2 is in Call to Arms. He says, "Well, son, I hope you don't grow up believing you got to be a puppet to be a man." Is a great line.
Hell yeah.
And then, keep between the lines, he says, "Most thoughts deserve about 2 or 3 more," which I was like, that is a profound thing to say, and that one might actually stick with me as something I quote.
I love all the lyrics of that entire song. Keep between the lines. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
I love that song. Michelle, other than you just don't like this album that much, what other thoughts do you have to share on the record?
I mean, I think I already touched on it, but like lyrically, this album is fantastic. It's just not up my alley musically.
It's like the Rainbow Connection. You like it, you just don't like it coming from Kermit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, this is Kermit on this record sometimes. I hope I ruined that for you now.
You absolutely did not. No, this is not another Tracy Morgan Public Enemy situation, which, by the way, Aaron and Casey, Michelle told me that Flavor Flav sounds like Tracy Morgan, and now I can't unhear that. So, like,
how crap he does.
Yeah. When I listen to old school PE that I like grew up on now, all I can see is Tracy Morgan doing it.
I calls them like he sees them.
That's funny. That's great.
But yeah, no, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Michelle, I honestly, I really like that you like the lyrics of the record now. And this kind of harkens back to an episode a couple weeks ago, but do you think that you like the lyrics more now not from becoming a parent? No. Because I can tell you for sure for me, that's huge.
I knew you were going to ask me that. I don't know. I think that I can appreciate the lyrics either way, but maybe it just resonates better.
Right.
Now that I've become a parent.
Plus, you did get high and play Nintendo 64. So
I did?
I don't know. I'm just assuming. I was hoping to get you to admit to something on the program.
I thought you knew something I didn't know.
That's what we in the business call leading the witness.
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible at this point. I mean, who knows what I did? But
would you like to speak on the program about the amount of vodka that you consumed in high school?
I don't know, my mom is listening.
Right, just in case. Hi, Mrs. K. So yeah, but you dig the lyrics, but the vocal delivery itself is probably,
and it does have its moments, on the album where I really dig it. But overall, it's not something that, like Aaron said, I don't think that I see myself going back to it. I know Kyle loves it, and he plays it quite often, and it's not something that I am going to be like, shut that shit off.
Right.
But it's just not something, I don't know. There's just something that doesn't just connect in my brain.
I get
that says you like this. So.
I have to tell you, this is going way better overall than I ever expected it to, though.
Well, anything's better than Pink Floyd.
Oh, good golly, Miss Smiley. Casey, take us out of this horseshit that just occurred in my ears.
It was going so well.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to put up 2 points at least. Like Aaron, and being, a host of a rock show, I'm not a huge country music fan.
Right.
So steel guitar is like my least favorite sounding instrument of all time. It's like the opposite of the banjo. Like banjo, it's happy and sounds fun. Steel guitar is like sad, depressing.
No, I totally get that.
I don't want to hear it.
I know what you mean. Yep.
But with this album, he hides it with the horns and the string instruments and everything else. So you really, the songs that is more prominent, you really don't hear it because it's kind of hidden.
Right. And I would argue too that where it's used in Bloom, like in between the first and second verse, it's not offensive. It's not, it doesn't make it sound, it's more as hopeful as a steel guitar can sound.
Yes. So that I wanted to make that point. And also it's funny that Michelle brought up Kermit the Frog, because there are times where his voice reminds me of Aaron Neville.
I hear that.
I hear that too.
There you go.
Yeah, I can hear that.
So I just wanted to throw that comparison out there a little bit.
I'll tell you what, with how many left and hard right turns this guy's taken in his career, it wouldn't surprise me if he did an all Neville cover album at some point. I mean,
that'd be awesome.
Good God. He's on,
he could do it.
He's on I think he's got 6 albums out now, and they're massively different from each other.
Is Aaron Neville the one that Turk covers in the elevator when he's singing to Carla?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is that I don't know much.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we're here for that.
I just found another way to sell this episode. Here's a stunning recreation of Aaron Neville's vocals,
as done by Don Faison.
Yeah. Hear me covering Turk, covering Aaron Neville. It's going to be amazing. But yeah, so far things are going better than I had planned for this episode, which is great. And actually, in honestly, I was telling you guys, I was like, I'm going to try and lean this more toward your wheelhouse. And I feel like this record would be a challenge for somebody who's rock focused, but I do think that there's enough here that's pleasantly surprising. And that's what I'm hearing from you guys so far. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, for one, I would say if you didn't introduce it as a country album, I wouldn't consider it one, aside from maybe his voice. And for 2, I'm also of the opinion that by and large across genre, like quality transcends genre.
Right.
And so
yeah.
Whatever it is, it might not be my thing, but I can recognize when something is, I guess all music is subjective, but I would verge on calling this objectively good, whether I'm personally super into it or not, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yes.
I agree. What he said.
Yeah. No, you can totally recognize his talent, and I'm actually really curious to hear some of his live stuff without all the additional instruments and just have a guitar and drums and whatever he had.
Spoiler, it's all almost double time. Like his drummer's got to be on some of the finest product out of Columbia, because everything was at least double time. Like it was some of the fastest I've ever heard music played. So, and I'll tell you, like for real, as soon as we're done recording, both of y'all go to Spotify, put on just the first song from Sound and Fury, and just see what you think of that. Because it's a completely different ballgame than this record. Completely different.
I appreciate that exists and would be closer to our ballpark, and you were still like, no, I'm going to challenge them a little bit with Sailor's Guide.
Yeah,
That's how we're doing this.
I mean, at the risk of sounding like I'm trying to butter y'all up, like I trust you with that. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have picked. I would have gone right to Sound of Fury if I was like, well, these are just rock guys that are just going to hear rock. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you guys can have a nuanced discussion about a record that's not exactly in your wheelhouse. You know?
Exactly.
He doesn't pick records for me.
No,
I feel special.
I tried with The Wall. I gave you the gift of my favorite record of all time.
That was not for me. That was for you.
Oh shit! I get those two things mixed up. That's my bad.
It was both.
Yeah, it was for both of us. Anyways, we got a couple other important questions to ask here. First of all, would you buy this record? Now, I'm not going to put words in the three of your mouths, but I feel like the three of you are like, I wouldn't buy this record myself. But we'll go through and find out for you guys. Yes, I would buy this record. I have bought this record. I've bought this record for myself and other people. I'm actually thinking about sending an extra copy to Michelle's house just so she has another one on hand. Michelle, I'm assuming your answer, but I will let you answer. Would you ever consider buying this record?
Not for me.
Not for you.
Not for me.
And you don't like Christmas, so you're not going to buy it for Kyle for Christmas.
We don't own it?
I don't. Well, how would I know what you own on vinyl?
How would I know?
Wait a minute. Am I supposed to be keeping track of that?
Yes. Where's your Excel spreadsheet?
Yeah,
spreadsheets.
I had one for my own record collection, but I didn't have one for yours.
Shit.
Aaron, what is this? Could you ever see a scenario where you would buy this, or is this just something that you wouldn't ever pick up?
I probably wouldn't unless it just really struck me that there's somebody that I encountered that I'm like, you would adore this. Maybe as a gift.
Right on.
Unless you bought the vinyl and hung it on the wall.
Vinyl is to be honest, more or less vinyl is the only time I buy music.
Right.
And I have to, that's like elite level. I adore this album and this band.
No, I get that.
So, most of my support for artists is in the form of seeing them live.
Right. No, yep, I get that. Casey, is there any scenario where you're picking this up, or is this a pass for you?
No, probably not.
Gotcha. That's fine. Now, the next question, though, I feel like is going to have some more nuanced answers. Like, would you recommend this record? I have, and I did. You know, like to you guys who I knew coming into this were straight rock guys. I was like, yeah, but they're still going to dig something here, right? So this is the record I recommend to people, especially if people say, "Oh, I've heard of Sturgill Simpson. I just don't like country." I'm like, then you haven't heard Sturgill Simpson. You've heard of him, but you haven't heard him, you know?
Yeah.
So Casey, what do you got? Is this something you would recommend to anybody?
I would, but it would depend on the person. If I knew that they kind of liked it, like if they didn't hear it already, but I would think that they would enjoy it, I would recommend it.
Right on. Aaron?
Same. I actually had a friend texted me during this conversation about some other bands, and as I think of it right now, he would probably quite enjoy this. So yeah. I might send them a text back and be like, have you heard this?
I feel like if nothing else, the In Bloom cover being as solid as it is really gives you an in for a lot of different type of music listeners for this record. Like, because like I say, if you had, I know I already said this, but if you had said to me, there's a country cover of In Bloom, immediately I would have said, do not ever play that in front of me, ever. You know, and this cover is so good, it's like you could use it as a hook to get someone to listen to the whole damn album. You know,
right?
Michelle, would you recommend this to other people, or would you recommend that they just steer clear completely?
I would recommend it to other people, but most of the people I would recommend it to, you've already recommended it to. So,
yeah.
But I would definitely recommend it to people.
That's fair. So now we're going to go through our ratings and scale of 1 to 10. Yeah, I know. This is where it's going to go downhill.
Shoot.
Everything's been going so well so far, but here's where we go sliding downhill. We're giving a rating of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the absolute worst. And of course, Pet Sounds being a number 5, according to Michelle. We'll go through the boys from the Itch Rocks first. Casey, what do you got on this for a scale of 1 to 10?
I'd give it about a 7.
Right on.
7 or an 8. 7 or an 8.
I feel like that's fair. But is the 3 points deducted mostly just because this is not like directly in your wheelhouse?
Kinda.
Or
or
are all 3 points for the steel guitar?
all 3 points are more or less from the steel guitar.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah.
Aaron, what do you got? 1 to 10?
I'd probably go about the same. I'll go 6, maybe 7.
Right on.
For not the steel guitar, but mostly, yeah. It's I didn't connect all that much, but there's stuff here that I certainly understand the appeal of and would endorse.
A 6 or 7 based on pleasantly surprised. Let's
yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Right on.
That's probably about as high as I'm gonna give anything that calls itself country that's not like a Johnny Cash album.
Right on. Yeah,
so
no. Yeah.
I would say that's that on a curve. This is pretty good.
Right on.
On the cash curve.
Yeah. On the cash curve.
That's what it is.
Michelle, just throw it out there. What do you got?
I would also give it a 6. I think it's great lyrically, like I've already said, but it just doesn't.
4 points deducted for Kermit vocals.
For Kermit vocals, there's a lot of filler in the album that is not. It you already know that. I'm not.
I mean, you named like 6 of the 9 songs as songs that you liked, and then you said there's a lot of filler. So
no, not songs on the songs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah. No, yeah. The songs. I just not that the record needs to be shorter, but I don't know. I'm just talking myself in a hole.
You just want the songs to end quicker.
Yes.
They don't need to be shorter, but they need to end quicker.
Yeah.
Or just have, anyways.
That's Michelle's
I feel
world.
you. Maybe trim 20 seconds here and there. Maybe add another track somewhere else. I don't know.
It's not that the songs themselves are too long. It's that there's too much filler music, which I think that's some people's jam. I feel like that's a lot of what I dislike about Pink Floyd. And also jam bands in general. Like I'm not that guy who's just going to listen to just you jamming on your guitar for an hour with no lyrics. So
I feel like your opinion on that comes back to Angela from The Office and her opinion of jazz. It's like, why don't they just follow the rules?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Why don't they just follow the rules?
All right.
So 6.
6 for Michelle. I'm giving this record a 10 out of 10, and I'm going to tell you why. Yep. This is a 10 record for me, and I'm going to tell you why. It's, for me, I love being challenged by music and art in general. And all the way across the board, this record is challenging in the best way, in my opinion. You know, even from the thing taking me from never wanting to even hear about the idea of a country artist covering Nirvana to the magnificent cover of In Bloom to the idea that it's a concept album that, and to be honest with you, you know, my high rating probably comes from being a dad myself and reflecting on my own relationship with my dad and whatnot. You know what I mean? So like the messaging on the record speaks directly to me. I think the horns from the Dap Kings throughout the whole record are magnificent and just really bring something to a record. Even my whole surprise from just very, very first time I heard the record, just being blown away by the fact that somebody could put something. This to me is one of those things where even if this album isn't your thing, when people sit around and complain about, oh, there's no new good rock music or there's no good rap anymore or there's no good country, like this dude's doing like 4 genres very well on the same record. So for me, I just think that there's so much to like here that, and I don't mind, and no, Michelle, you were not successful in ruining it. I'm not going to hear Kermit when I hear this record. I don't mind anything about it. The only thing I mind about his vocal delivery is it took me forever to figure out a lot of the lines on the record because of he's really got some Eddie Vedder in him.
Kermit?
He's got some Eddie Vedder in him with a couple of different, like there's that line in Keep Between the Lines where he says, don't turn mailboxes into baseballs. And it took me like 6 months to figure out what he was saying there because of the way he pronounces it, So yeah. So anyways, I feel like overall that went as good or better as I could have hoped for. And I really do. Like I always say, oh yeah, the Trox is great. And I really appreciate you guys putting the time and energy and thought into the record that you did. I know this is not exactly up your alley, but I hope that you were both at least pleasantly surprised by, something that is a little outside the strike zone for you guys.
Yeah.
It was kind of refreshing, I will even say, to have something that was so different than the stuff I have been immersing myself in for the past month.
Yeah.
With the top 20. And so, yeah, this was a nice little change of pace to squeeze in there.
That's rad. Good. And then by all means, please go listen to Sound and Fury and let me know what you think of that, because it is a completely different ballgame. Having said that, this show right here next week, we are going to try so hard to have Dayton from the Docking Bay podcast on the show next week, and hopefully his internet will not get in the way of that. And what we're doing next week, this is going to be, I think, a fun and challenging discussion. We're going to talk about the future of rights management, because seemingly everybody on earth has either sold the rights to their catalog or has a deal brewing right now where they're going to be selling the rights to their catalog. And so we're going to talk about what that means, for the future of the music that we love and cherish already, and how we think that'll develop in the future. So that, I think, is going to be a fun discussion. Or if Dayton's internet gives out, then it's just going to be me talking to myself about it. So, either way, it's going to be highly entertaining. I assure you of that. What do you guys got coming up in the immediate future? But this episode will be out this coming Monday, so right around December 20th-ish, around there. So what do you guys got coming up next? Are you going right into your top albums of 2022 after that?
Pretty much. We've got our top 20 countdown, so we'll put that out. We've also got the Itch Awards. That's a bunch of different categories. Song of the year, breakout of the year, just stuff that we've kind of tabbed our own
all throughout the
award
years.
show.
Right yeah.
I should note that for anybody who's interested in listening, the Itch Awards is interactive. We provide the nominees, and then we put it up to a vote for listeners to tell us who wins.
That's
and
right.
then we announce the winners.
Cool.
So it's a collaboration.
Yeah, Michelle doesn't believe in democracy, or else we would do things like that on our show. Gentlemen, before we let you go, if anybody heard this and they said, well, gosh darn it, those guys at the Itch are great, I really want to go listen to them, what's the best place for them to come check you out?
Itchrocks.com, or just search the Itch anywhere you enjoy podcasts.
And you will
an awesome logo.
You will find it. I love your logo. So having said that, from myself and Michelle, we greatly appreciate everybody listening. We greatly appreciate Aaron and Casey sitting down with us. If you like R&B and country-ish and a Nirvana cover you can't believe, check out this Sturgill record. If none of that appeals to you, check out the next Sturgill record, Sound and Fury, and see what you think of that. Like we always say about this time, without music, life would be a mistake. Bye.
The Infectious Groove Podcast is hosted by Russ Robinson, Kyle Wimple, and Michelle Kasalecki. Produced and edited by Russ Robinson. Intro and outro music composed by Chris Kimmel. Recorded with a Rode Podcaster Pro and Rode Pod mics.